Hey guys, Libby News here. So today I'm going to be doing my review for Danganronpa 3, Episode 7, Future Side, and to be honest with you guys, this episode is not going to be quite as organized as usual. I'm actually out of town right now. I left to go out of town on Tuesday, and I thought that I'd be able to make the review and watch the episode on Monday, but as many of you guys know, there was a delay with the subtitles, so I'm actually making this while I'm out of town, and you'll probably notice that during the reaction section as well, but I'm just going to kind of highlight the main events of this episode instead of going through each and every scene. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. This whole entire episode was themed after Danganronpa Another Episode, Ultra Despair Girls, and it was even called Ultra Despair Girls. We barely saw any of the Future Foundation headquarters at all. And the first part I want to talk about is the fact that we see Nagisa and the other Warriors of Hope, which was really exciting. I was especially excited to see Nagisa because, as many of you guys know, he was one of my favorite characters from that game. So it was really exciting to see in this episode that they're working with Kamaru now and trying to help her and Fukawa both take down Monika. He does also mention that he doesn't want them to be too hard on Monika because she was a friend at one point. It was pretty interesting to see that Nagisa does still have some sort of attachment to Monika and still cares about her. As we saw at the end of Ultra Despair Girls, Kodako pretty much did not care about her at all, but I wonder how each and every Warrior of Hope feels towards her, if they all feel the same or if they all feel different. I just thought it was an interesting line and I thought I'd bring it up. The next scene I want to talk about is Fukawa's fantasy involving Tagami, and it was honestly just so hysterical. Fukawa's fantasies in Ultra Despair Girls could kind of be hit or miss with me on like being really funny or not, but I thought this one was way funnier than any of the fantasies she had in that game. She ends up making Kamaru look like a potato in this family, and they have like 18 children and are going to make their 19th in front of all the kids. It's just really funny. But moving on from this, we see that Tagami is in fact affected by this dream because it's so horrible and terrible. But then he mentions that in their areas, none of the branches of the Future Foundation found any activity related to the remnants of despair. And again states that there's no indication that the event taking place at the headquarters right now is being broadcasted to the world. So basically he's making it sound as if it is not a remnant of despair that is behind this whole killing game. And from this episode we also learned that Monika is not behind this killing game as well. This really raises a lot of questions as to who the mastermind could be, because it seems from this scene that they are not a remnant of despair, or they more than likely are not. And we also get confirmation that the mastermind is not Monika and that she's not working with them at all, and she doesn't even know who it is. Just from this episode, I don't really have any good theories as to who it could be. We still have the secret 13th leader of the Future Foundation, and there's also that extra participant that's playing in the killing game, so I still think they're likely candidates, but at the moment I don't really have any good theories, so I'll let you guys know when I come up with any. But moving on from this scene, we see Toko and Kamaru break into Monika's headquarters, and once inside we see that they are about to battle those Gundam-looking robots that are in Ultra Despair Girls. But right before the fight begins, Monika decides to surrender. After she surrenders, she says that even if she does fight, Hope will ultimately always win, but also that this time she doesn't know whose Hope it'll be that wins. So when I heard this line, I feel like there's a few different implications you can take from it. I'm guessing she's referring to the Mastermind's form of Hope versus Nagi's Hope, and this to me implies that the Mastermind might actually be doing this killing game in order to have their version of Hope win. Over the games and the animes for Danganronpa, we have seen plenty of different versions of Hope. We've seen Nagi's version of Hope, we've seen Nagito's, Munakata's, and even Ryota seems to have a pretty big outlook about hope and what brings hope. And of course there is Izuru, who is created to literally be hope itself. So this line implies to me that the Mastermind has their very own version of hope, and that for some reason this killing game is helping them accomplish that. But this is just my personal speculation on this. I'd love to hear if you guys have any opinions or speculations or theories about this as well. But moving on, Monika completely blows up the building, and Toko and Kamaru find her in this Monokuma themed van that she is in pajamas and basically watching TV, playing video games, and controlling Mia in. She also mentions that she no longer wants to have anything to do with hope and despair, and that it's just completely embarrassing and she wants to forget about it. Like I mentioned before, in this scene she states that she's not behind the new killing game, and also also that she doesn't even know who the mastermind is, but that she is just an observer and she was the one who played that fake death prank on Naegi by pretending to kill Asahina. So a lot of us already predicted that Monika was not the mastermind, but a lot of people, including myself, believe that she was working hand in hand with him and that she was more than likely the attacker or the traitor. But since she describes herself as being an observer in this scene, I no longer think she's either of those. I still believe that the traitor and the attacker are more than likely two different people, and I'm still sticking with the theory that the attacker alternates, but since Monika is no longer believed to be the traitor, based off of this episode, it kind of leaves the door open again as to who that could be. But also in this episode, we learn that she was the one to kill Miea, and also that one of the reasons she no longer has any interest in becoming an ultimate despair is because Kamaida turned her into an adult. She states that as she listened to him talk about hope and despair, she realized she didn't want to end up like him. I've seen a lot of theories as to why Monika would end up rejecting despair because of Kamaida's influence, and I personally believe that it has a lot to do with Kamaida and Junko's relationship because at the end of Ultra Despair Girls, he does state that he loves and hates Junko more than anybody else, so I think his relationship with her is very complicated. So I feel like if we see the dynamic between Kamaida and Junko's relationship in the despair side, it'll give us a better idea as to how he tried to turn Monika into the second version of her, and that'll give us all a better idea as to why Monika decided to give up on despair altogether when she was so into it in Ultra Despair Girls. And Monika also says that she doesn't know who the mastermind is, but she does know that one of Naegi's friends will die and that it'll be his fault. And then when Toko questions her as to who it is, she tells her to Google it. I thought this line was really funny. There's also a bit of a translation thing with this. Some of the fan subbers translated this differently than Funimation did, and I honestly thought the fan subs were a lot funnier than the Funimation version. After this, Monika states that she's sick of Earth and blasts off to go into space, and Fukawa is just dead set on following her up there, but Kamaru ends up talking her out of it, mentioning her beloved Tagami. And once they both land, we get a really sweet scene between the two of them, which I really enjoyed because in Ultra Despair Girls, their friendship was one of my favorite things about this game, especially because I felt like it gave Fukawa a ton of character development that she really needed. And while they're looking up at Monika, who is now blasted off into space, Kamaru mentions that she might come back down again because she's a smart girl and she'll realize that doing nothing is the same as being on the side of despair. So I've joked a lot about not really liking Monika very much, but I do hope that she does come back. I'd really hate to see her character arc end like this, and I'd really hate to see the whole Ultra Despair Girls storyline end in this way as well, and I'm very hopeful that it won't. We did see that picture at the end of the epilogue of Ultra Despair Girls with Haiji Toa in it with several of the other adults just killing Monokumas, and since we haven't seen this yet, and since this episode didn't really seem like a good conclusion to the Ultra Despair Girls storyline, I feel like we'll see more, especially with that line by Kamaru. It kind of gives me hope that this isn't the last time we'll see Toa City, but that's just my opinion. I'd be happy to hear you guys' opinions as well on this in the comment section. But in the final scene, we see Toko and Kamaru warning Asahina and Naegi about what Monika had said about one of the survivors of the 78th class's killing game surviving. And after this, we see a close-up kind of emphasizing Kirigiri, and then we see Munakata leaving from the place that we saw him in the previous Future Side episode. After seeing this really big emphasis on Kirigiri after that line, I don't really think it'll be her because it kind of seems a little too obvious now, but other than that, I think it could be anybody else. And maybe since Monika's saying that it'll be Naegi's fault, that means that he might actually end up killing somebody because of the alternate killers theory. But anyways, this is just kind of like my thoughts and my ideas regarding this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and be sure to let me know if you guys have any theories or speculation of your own. And also, if you did enjoy the video, it would really help me out if you left a like or a comment, and I will see you guys real soon. I love him. He was like my favorite character from that game. Well, besides Toko. I'm so happy they're here. Like, bad shoujo manga. Child number 19. Fukawa is sick. Not the conclusion I thought Monika would get. Gonna be honest.
Subscribe to Weeby News for more hope-filled videos.